What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Today we have a quick, brief Week 17 recap. We also have our fantasy award show for the whole entire season. You know, biggest bust, worst draft capital, best draft capital, stream of the year, all that good stuff. It is all bookmarked in the show notes, so you won't want to miss that, guys. I am joined by Phill and Jordan. Before, Seth is getting on. I guess he's at it's kind of like a Friendsmas or something. I don't know. It's like a Christmas with your friends where you buy each other, $50 gifts or something. I don't know. The guy's about as reliable as a hairdryer in a bathtub, but don't get me started on that. Before we jump into this pod, I just want to say 3 things I'd like to apologize for. Okay. Is that okay, Phill?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I say something about Seth?
Yeah.
I thought he was at a morning, like he was in mourning, right? He was chirping me so much this week that he was going to beat me in a fantasy football final, and I absolutely smoked him for the championship. So not only am I a national champ, but the guy literally won't show his face out of embarrassment. So that should say something about him. But go ahead, let's say the 3 things that you need to apologize for.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. But I'm also in a league with Seth where he won by like decimal points. So I don't know if the good outweighs the bad or what it is. So the guy didn't have bad of a week, but he does have to come on a pod and face, someone who beat him, less than an hour after it happened. It is Monday night, but 3 people I'd like to apologize to, guys. I'd like to, not just things, I'd like to apologize that the fantasy season's over unless you are just a wacko and play, have Week 18 championships. I'd also like to apologize to guys who took second place this week. And number 3, I would like to apologize to my home league runner-up. Brian, I congratulated you way too early in tonight's game, and Jared Goff happened to go bananas in that second half, and you lost by, Jordan, was it 7 points? I believe you lost by 7 points. It looked like he had it in the bag. So, Brian, I am so sorry. That is a $1,200 swing, not getting that. So, sorry, Brian. Thinking about you, buddy, and thank you for listening to the pod. If you're not that mad at me that you are actually listening to the pod. And those of you who are listening to the pod, remember, don't be rude, share the dudes. Really helps us out. Jordan, how are you doing, man? You hanging in there?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I had a really good weekend, so like gambling-wise, probably one of the best gambling weekends I've had in a really long time. So,
how much are you up?
Good weekend.
Can you round up or something? Is it like is it a car payment? Is it a
I had a really good props
mortgage
on the college slate on Friday night. Like on our sponsor Underdog, took down like a pretty good like an 8-pick parlay or whatever. An Underdog. Sorry to not share that with you guys. I'm gonna say probably up $3,000
a down payment
on
on the house and
probably $3,000, up $3,000 since Friday. Like totals, like
You're
maybe
on
a little more than that. Yeah, it was a really good weekend for me. But that comes after probably the worst downswing in gambling I've been on since for the last 6 months. So closed out the year right.
Yeah. Bottom line, you're back. You're back. You're starting the new year.
I feel like I'm floating above water again.
Good.
So I climbed back up to the surface and we're treading water. So hopefully we can build that in 2025. But Trent, my biggest you apologize to Brian. You know who should be apologizing to Brian the most?
Who?
Is I know they won, but Dan Campbell for even playing his starters because he had no business. They had no business going out there and playing. Jared Goff should have been out at halftime.
That's when I sent the text. Halftime.
And like it's just like Brian just got like he's the only coach in the NFL that would care about winning that game and would push to win that game. Every other coach is sitting those guys. They don't even step on the field probably.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. So fantasy wise, I don't think no one on here has Week 18 championships. Like I feel like that's getting less and less common. The more games the NFL adds, I think the harder it is to even have these Week 17 championships, right? Like I took second place in a league this weekend. I honestly didn't even check the score on Sunday. I was that depressed about it. The person I am playing, they lost one of their wide receivers due to injury. I can't read. It's been a long weekend because of this. They decided to stream Marvin Mims on Saturday, okay? The guy puts up 40 points. I just said, you know what, Sunday, I'm not looking at the score. Like, I was just, I went to bed mad, like, this is going to take so much. Like, they started CJ Stroud, and then I was like, you know what, I got this thing. I'm going to win this thing. Then Marvin Mims, 40 fantasy points PPR, and I just I lost by 15. So I did check. It was a bummer. So yeah. So if anyone else played against Marvin Mims, that they played somebody that had the cans to start Marvin Mims in the championship, leave us a comment in the notes here, or tweet it to me
on YouTube.
X. Yeah. Go on YouTube at TFF Dudes or tweet it to us. But yeah, so
neither of you guys are in. So you were in a championship at 1.
I was in a championship, took second. I lost to Phill last week by 2 fantasy points because Josh Allen did bad. Then who'd they bench again?
No, it's Jordan Love. You had Jordan Love who needed to get
Jordan
2
Love
points
got benched. Yeah. Jordan Love got benched. And then Phill, I would have absolutely mopped the floor this week for Seth. And then Phill beat me by 2 with that. So Jordan Love.
I did mop the floor with Seth.
Jordan Love and Josh Allen totally let me down in week 16. And I have my all duds list.
Jordan,
I'll get that later. What?
I lost in semis. Last week to who did
the reigning
lost
champ.
To
you lost to Matt, I'm pretty sure.
No, I lost to Brian, who just lost. Heartbreaker.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So shout out to Matt, huh?
Yeah. Brian, yeah. Shout out to Matt. Matt does listen to the pod, and then Brian, who's probably making a hit list. I'm probably on it right now, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. We can only pray.
Yeah. So let's jump into these awards. I believe Seth's little friends gift exchange is almost done. I think it's I don't know if it's like a secret Santa type thing he's at or what it is, but no one on the pod knows where he's at, exactly. I think they do this in some open field somewhere or something. It's weirder than it sounds, believe it or not.
He's an odd guy.
Yeah.
Not him necessarily, the friend group that he surrounds himself with.
Yeah, you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. And Seth has done a very rare.
Correct.
I don't even know. I'm going to leave it at that. Fantasy awards. I don't know how long this show will be. We will be coming back next week. We'll do a playoff prediction, stuff like that. Oh, it's not even playoffs next week. We got to.
No, it's.
Next Monday. Next Monday. We'll come back next Monday. This will come out.
It will be playoffs.
Yeah. So then we do got underdog best ball playoffs also. Maybe we'll do a draft on that. That might be fun. I don't know. We'll see how.
There's always going to be props and other stuff to play. So
always props. So. All right,
but we will not. We promise the fans we will not talk about basketball on the show.
Maybe college football. Maybe college football. Football,
yeah. All right.
And so let's hop into that. Remember, go over to Underdog, promo code Dudes, match up to $1,000, guys. All right, so let's jump into these awards here. Phill or Jordan, give us a recap on the who won the picks. Me and Phill didn't submit them. Got a little busy.
No, I did.
Seth did not.
Seth did.
You and Seth.
Seth was preparing for his little gift exchange. I was actually, playing Santa.
And the best part is that you have made fun of Phill a lot. Every time, oh, Phill, send your picks. You haven't sent your picks, And then who's the first person to actually never send their picks? You.
I'm also the only guy who's never missed a pod, too, though. You can throw that out there. I have a perfect record.
Because when you miss the pod, we all miss the pod. That's kind of how it works.
So I don't miss.
So you haven't missed a recording.
Yes.
I think there was one time where I was down to go on Christmas last week, and you were like, "Nope, can't go on Christmas." So I guess you don't blame me for missing it. That's on you.
Yeah, no.
I would have been down to go on Christmas. I don't know.
Grow up, Trent.
Anyways,
I feel like a loser now.
You should.
Phill missed 2, and I missed 1. We both had Indiana to win, Indianapolis to win. And we both missed that. And for some crazy reason, Phill took the Cowboys to win, and that was his undoing. So I have now gone. I am not in last place anymore. Phill is now in last place.
So here's the thing. Phill told me he's basically like a kind of I don't know if they're like 4th favorite team or what they are, but Phil's kind of a Cowboys fan now. Is that true, Phill?
I will never admit it publicly, but I did have you guys were hating on me because you said I wasn't going to go to the Cowboys game. Lo and behold, who went to the Cowboys game? Went there, was shooting you guys some pics of the game. Overall, a fantastic fan experience at the game. I honestly love the stadium. I want to say a ton of negative, bad things. I was thinking about tons of negative things I could say to Trent on this podcast, via text, whatever it was, on the phone call the next day. thoroughly enjoyed my time at Cowboy Stadium. It was a great time.
Well, welcome to the party. And, I am a Cowboys fan, but can you guys just give me some respect for this shirt here I'm wearing? You can see it on TFF Dudes. It's a Buccaneers shirt with Baker Mayfield on it. Does that look kind of cool? Is that kind of cool, Phil? You like that?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
That's an eBay special.
If you were a Buccaneers fan, it would be cool. But you're a Cowboys
fan. For a
fantasy
show, I think it's okay.
I will say that Ward interception in the end zone, I think it was Ward, was one of the coolest interceptions that I've ever seen.
Jordan Lewis.
Was it Lewis?
Yeah, who stole it from McMillan?
No, he was on the Cowboys.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis stole it from McMillan in the end zone. Is that the one you're talking about? I believe that's.
Yeah. That was a legit interception where he just snags it and he's rolling over. Oh, that was such a sweet interception.
Was that in the end zone you were sitting at? Did you have a good view of that?
Opposite end zone, but the end zone that I was sitting on was that huge. I think was it a 58 to 62 yarder that kicker kicked? That first field goal was huge. It was an absolute bomb. But there was some pretty good action. And then the CeeDee Lamb bomb was on the opposite side too, but it was pretty cool. I was trying not to look at the Tron the entire time because you're tempted to just basically watch it on TV, but you catch yourself watching it like a lot of the game on that thing.
Well, no, I honestly don't think there's a bad spot. I would say don't sit in the end zones because the TV is so big, it's hard to keep your eyes off of it. I sat 15 rows up, and I had trouble not looking at the TV. I needed a neck brace by the end of the game.
All I remember from that game is that if Rachaad White doesn't fumble, I think I make a ton of money because I was needing 10 more yards on the Evans prop, and he just crushed me when Rachaad White, just fumbles, and he's going to throw to Evans a bunch on that drive.
Yeah. What kills me about that game is the Cowboys could not stop Bucky Irving in the first half, and that's actually what came down to my fantasy matchup with Phill. Is Bucky Irving had a really good first half. They didn't use him that much in the second half, but he had a really good first half. But Bucky Irving has just been an absolute monster this whole, pretty much the whole season. Once he got last 2 weeks, he's been good. I think he had a rough, maybe first week of playoffs, or right before playoffs, he had a rough week where he only had 2 points, and then guys look pretty good. So let's jump into these two.
One more quick question. So in a fantasy championship, literally a guy who is in the league scored 200 points. I've never seen anyone break 200 points, I don't think.
Well,
in a 12-man league.
Is this a super flex or is this PPR? Is it
PPR? Depends.
It's PPR, but it's not super flex.
So, okay. That is impressive.
That's kind of high, right?
What players did he have that went off though, Phill?
Hold on, yeah. So Bucky Irving, the first week of against the Raiders, he only had 2.8 points, and then against the Chargers, he had 13.5 points. I'll tell you guys that one. He had, give me a second here.
Probably Neighbors.
So, yep. So he, actually, I don't think he did. Oh, yes, he did have Neighbors. So he had Neighbors. He had Philadelphia defense. He had Cameron Dicker from the Chargers. He had George Pickens, McBride, Cortland Sutton, Keenan Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then he had Saquon Barkley and Jared Goff.
Yeah. No, that is a high scoring for not just PPR. 200 seems like a lot. Is that two wide receiver, one flex, or 3 wide receiver, one flex?
It is a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. Okay. Oh, 2 flex.
Okay, so 3 wide, it's 2 not, flex.
Yeah, but it's not a. It's still not a 2 QB league though.
Okay. That extra does help, but no, that is still a lot. So let's jump into these awards. This is actually Jordan's favorite pod of the year, Phill. He said that he's been very excited about this. He loves the recapping and the stuff like that. And
so Phill, what is this? What doc is this in? I'm sorry. I just sent you a chat and I didn't hear back.
Yeah, it's called Award Show. It's in the Google Docs. Very hard to find. So if you can go in there.
Yeah, my bad.
And then
I don't know if there we go. My bad. My apologies. Yeah. All right.
If you want to just read these, Phill, go through them, and then I can give.
Yeah. So here's
however you want to do it.
Here's the thing. So we have a 2024 award show wrapping up the year nicely. We have an MVP award, a Rookie of the Year award, a One Pick You Wish You Could Undo award, Best Draft capital, a waiver wire hero, stream of the year, dud of the year, biggest frustration of the year. Wow, Trent, I can't believe you spelled frustration that way. Playoff hero, playoff zero, diva of the year, comeback player of the year. So Jordan, can you just appreciate the way that Trent spelled frustration there?
Where is this? So
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah. So my excuse on this one, I actually have a decent excuse here on this one, and I fixed most of it. I was using my Apple Pencil in the Google Doc, and it was not translating my handwriting to text very well. So that is my excuse. This one. Hey, I usually do not have an excuse when it comes to spelling, though. I will say that. So
no, you're right. You're right. You usually don't have an excuse, but when you do, it's a valid one, and I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I spent about 10 minutes trying to make an S on here with my Apple Pencil, and it kept going to a 5. And that was down on Commanders down there, and I finally just said forget it and just.
Do you not believe in keyboards or what?
I just was using the Apple Pencil, having some fun. So I usually don't do it for that for that exact reason, but I do believe in keyboards. I use one every day. So. Yeah.
I'm going to kind of bounce around here.
Sometimes
Is that all right?
Sometimes I just don't want carpal tunnel like you, Phill. I don't want to walk around wearing a wrist brace everywhere I go.
Yeah, while I'm hauling cattle. All right, let us go to this.
If you're gonna bounce around, please mark what we've gone through, so you're not just like, hey, I think we went on that one, and all that stuff.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's start with your biggest frustration. I think that's a good one, starting with the biggest frustration. Because I think it's one that it's fine. I think dud of the year is kind of similar, but biggest frustration. We also have biggest diva on here, diva of the year. They're all kind of similar, but let's go with biggest frustration. I'm going to go ahead and start with Jordan. I want to hear about yours.
So before Jordan goes, let me just say the biggest dud of the year and biggest frustration. Here's the difference. Dud can be someone on your not on your fantasy team. Frustration could be, I looked at it as someone you actually drafted, someone you played on underdog.
I did not look at it like that, for what it's worth.
Okay.
I did not.
So we can all look at it different. Phill, try to adjust your camera a little bit, just like everyone else. Just a little housekeeping.
Do what? Do what?
Just adjust your camera. Just keep us all a little equal there, Thank you.
Okay.
How do you look at it, Jordan?
I just looked at it as guys who are very up and down, very I think a dud for me is someone who's just bad all year round, where frustration is someone who it's you really don't know week to week what you're getting out of them. And I guess I do have DJ Moore on one of my Dynasty League teams, so I guess that's fair to where I did have him on my team, but I have DJ Moore as most frustrating player this year. And partly that's partly because of his quarterback, but he was just so up and down, week to week. We didn't really know what you're going to get from him. Kind of didn't know his effort level in games too. Sometimes he just gets super frustrated. I think he walked off the field on a play one time this year. So DJ Moore, biggest frustration for me.
Definitely frustrating. So I had him in a couple of leagues, Jordan. The thing is you didn't know. You summed it up well, but he never did bad enough that you wanted to quit playing him. You always felt like you kind of had to play him.
You felt like he should. I feel like he should have been a wide receiver, top 10 wide receiver this year. I feel like that could have been his range of outcomes. And sometimes he just wasn't that guy. And some weeks he was. So you just kind of always had to play him, and you were let down probably just as many times as you were happy about it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it goes back to, and we all kind of forgot about this in the offseason, was when JSN was making fun of the offensive coordinator for leaving Seattle, going to Chicago, just talking about the route tree and stuff like that. Did he get a little bit better after the offensive coordinator left? Maybe a little bit better.
He did. A little bit better.
So, but never.
Keenan Allen probably benefited more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, wonder where that guy will go to next. But what do we got? What else do we have, Phill?
No, you're not gonna say yours.
Oh yeah. I can go to mine. Yeah, and then I have Jalen Waddle. This is just a guy. I have him in a couple dynasty leagues. I took him in 2 redraft leagues. Just absolutely frustrating. Even in a team where I wasn't good, I ended up dropping him. I think week 5, because I didn't know when Tua was going to come back. It happened to not be that big of a deal that I dropped him. You always feel like if you drop someone like that, it's going to ruin the league and someone's going to get him and take advantage of it. It actually, I think he caught 1 touchdown after that, maybe 2. Like he just wasn't really. You could almost throw the whole Dolphins team on this list, other outside of Achane, right? Achane and Jonnu Smith, but you didn't draft Jonnu. He was probably a waiver guy. But I have Jalen Waddle as a guy on here. And actually, if you want it, we're on biggest dud, right? Is that what you said we're on?
No, biggest frustration. You had Jalen Waddle. Yep.
I have Jalen Waddle. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. See the confusion there?
Well, no, I'm just thinking about something else because I have my all duds team that I was going to put out that I was just going to read on here. I thought it was decent content to cover here.
Appreciate it, Baker. All right. And speaking of Setherton, he has not joined yet, but his biggest frustration was Sir Kenneth Walker out of the Seattle Seahawks, who will not be making the playoffs regardless if they win or lose on Sunday against the Rams. All right, moving on here. We have Stream of the Year. I think this one's great. I think we should go. Trent, I went with you second, so I'm going to go Stream of the Year. Next one here. Trent, who is your Stream of the Year guy?
Stream of the Year. I actually always like this one, but guy that was most of the year that I was streaming, that I was always putting in stream articles. We used to have a stream of the week that we'd put on the pod. It seemed kind of repetitive. Yep. But Bo Nix was a guy that I felt like you could just keep going to the well with. You know, the last 4 weeks or so, he wasn't there anymore, but I kind of pushed this guy a long time, and he was a good stream, solid stream, you know, kind of probably about a 17-point ceiling for the most part, but 15.4. But yeah, I have Bo Nix here. And
yeah, I think that's a good one.
I don't know how to make that funnier or anything like that, but yeah, Bo Nix. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he came on. I'm trying to remember when you started singing his praises. I want to say, like you said, it was kind of early in the season, huh?
Yeah, I was pretty decently early. But
okay, cool. Jordan, let's hear about your stream of the year.
So I have Isaac Garendo as a stream of the year, and this is purely based off on 1 week. But if you picked up, it was in week 14, going in your last week of the regular season, you probably spent a ton of fab on him, probably all your fab, or maybe your first waiver priority that you've been saving. He dropped 25, 26 points in week 14, probably to send. He sent me to playoffs, probably sent other people to playoffs, and probably just kind of with the circumstances of how much you spent for him, and then he came through. Yeah, he didn't really do anything else after the season, for the rest of the year. But that 1 week, man, that might have been whether you made playoffs or not made playoffs. And so for that reason, I have him as stream of the year.
Made playoffs, not made playoffs, kept you out of last place contention, which is what he did for me.
Yeah, all
so
that
I think
stuff.
I think it's worth noting. I did not take last in that league. I snaked by last week, feeling pretty good about myself. Did not care about my lineup this week, but just felt a sigh of relief last week as I beat the guy who I actually think is going to lose this week. So, yeah, felt bad for him, but it just had to be done.
Yeah. Hey, Phill, go in order.
Okay.
Go in order on this thing.
All right. That's a switch of this, but that's all right. Let's go
I kind of just put them in the order I thought would flow best, but.
Okay. Yeah, sure, man. This is, let's talk about our MVPs. You know what? If it's going to flow, let's go with the best flow here that we can have. Best stream, I guess you can say, stream of consciousness. MVP, Trent. Let's let it flow. Go ahead, Josh Jacobs. What do you got to say?
I'm going with Josh Jacobs because I thought this was a guy that the ADP was just nice on Josh Jacobs. I liked where you got him in drafts. I thought it was good. And I feel if you wanted to Josh Jacobs, you could have got him in your draft. Second round, you could have reached on him. Third round, I thought where he went was a viable MVP option that everyone could have had him, and he had a good season. Like, we all talked about how good we thought how good Jordan Love was going to be, Packers, stuff like that. Honestly, the Packers have been absolutely terrible the last, I don't know how long it's been, but Josh Jacobs has been steady, and he's stayed well the whole entire time. So that's why I put Josh Jacobs there as kind of my MVP there, just because of ADP. It was between him and Derrick Henry was kind of where I had it there on my MVP.
I like it. Jordo?
I have Saquon Barkley. Just because I think in some drafts you could have got him in the second round. I know in a lot of like best ball stuff he went in the second round. Just depends on what league you're in, how many keepers, stuff like that. But in a standard redraft league with no keepers, he was going back into the first, early second. So, and he was, I think, like the fourth leading fantasy scorer this year, including quarterbacks. So I mean, I think he outscored all the wide receivers, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, he outscored all the wide receivers. So, yeah, I just have Saquon Barkley as MVP. He kind of reversed the mold of what winning championships would look like the last few years, where it was more high end wide receivers, low end running backs, and him and like guys like Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon. I know Joe Mixon fizzled out, but running backs kind of won you your leagues this year. So, or at least got you into playoffs. That's for sure.
Definitely for sure. And what's crazy, well, maybe it's not crazy, is, I kind of was talking about like I was off on Barkley just because I was kind of worried about the Jalen Hurts rushing touchdowns, right? The tush push, stuff like that. Jalen Hurts still what? Did he still have double-digit rushing touchdowns? I believe he still had double-digit rushing touchdowns on the season. And he didn't play this past week, but, so they both were able to get rushing touchdowns. The Eagles just run the ball so much. And, Phill, Kenny Pickett kind of reminded me a little bit of you on Sunday. That backwards pass, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like seeing Kenny too, but, Kenny Pickett back out there with the tiny hands, so.
He got a shout out from a very popular Twitter user after that happened. All right. Did you see that, Trent?
I saw it. Yeah. I saw it.
Yeah. Just interesting for sure. All right, moving on here. Let's talk about Rookie of the Year. Trent, it's hard to disagree with you when it comes to the Rookie of the Year pick. There is no way this guy is 6 foot tall. Absolutely no way.
I am not sure. I got Ladd McConkey. He's been solid. What is he? Is he wide receiver? What did I do here? He's wide receiver. What is he? Wide receiver 5, wide receiver 7. So, yeah, Ladd, just PPR monster. I've been high on Ladd since the draft. I really liked him. One of my favorite guys I talked about in the offseason as a wide receiver. So I just felt right to go with Ladd. I can see Jordan's argument too. Maybe a little bit of a homer pick, and then even Seth's pick as well. But I got Ladd McConkey. Where he went in drafts was so late. Nice. It took him a couple weeks to really get going. Might have even got him on the waiver wire, but I got Ladd McConkey. Jordan, what do you got?
Jordan, there's no way he's 6 foot, right?
I have no idea. I don't know.
He's tiny.
Hard to say with me not standing next to him, right?
It's just you see him get hit sometimes, and you're like, man, this guy is getting lit up. Like I like Cooper Kupp is like a I don't know. Do you guys get what I'm saying? This guy's he's smaller than Tyler Lockett almost.
Yeah,
he is a small dude.
Speaking of Cooper Kupp, Marvin Mims had more points than Cooper Kupp in one game than Cooper Kupp had the whole entire playoffs. Like, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, probably over 6 game span. We're probably talking about someone's height way too long, seeing as I'm a short guy. But Jordan, go ahead and give your. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Why are you shocked that people are lying about their height? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I have it everywhere listed. I'm 5'8".
Anyone under 6'2" lies about their height, I feel like.
You're not 5'8" for what it's worth, but okay.
5'8", 175 pounds. That's what
show your driver. Yeah. As I say, show your driver's license, but I have a lot of lies on there as well. So, but that's a whole nother different topic that I could talk about for a very long time. Jordan.
I have Brian Thomas Jr. as Rookie of the Year. I honestly would have had Jaden Daniels, but Seth already had that on the spreadsheet. Didn't know he wasn't going to be here to give his picks out. So I'll say Jaden Daniels also is an awesome choice as well. This is probably the best rookie fantasy class we've ever had. Like, maybe that's kind of an exaggeration, but Neighbors is really good. Brian Thomas Jr. really good. Jaden Daniels really good. Ladd McConkey really good. Brock Bowers maybe had the best tight end season ever, especially for rookie tight end. Then you have Bo Nix, and you have who am I forgetting here?
Brock Bowers.
I said Brock Bowers.
McConkey, Ladd. We just talked about
I said Ladd.
I don't think you said
Ladd. So,
okay.
yeah, I mean, Drake May was solid. Like I feel like there's other wide receivers out there that I am forgetting about. Then Ladd, BTJ, Neighbors. I feel like there's a couple more, but
Marvin
really
Harrison
good rookie
Jr.
class. Yeah, but he didn't really, honestly,
No.
he did not. Yeah,
people who drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. are not happy. And second round
I think you
draft
will
capital.
Be happy. In Dynasty, you'll end up being happy.
Yeah, you'll be happy, but it was kind of like the take I had I switched right at the end. In August, I was like, you know what? I'm on the Marvin Harrison Jr. I drank the camp Kool-Aid, and I paid for it. The whole offseason, I was like, I do not want to take a rookie that early. So,
did you say Bowers, Jordan?
He did say Bowers.
Yeah, I talked about Bowers. And honestly, like, Worthy wasn't bad either. Worthy has come on really strong the last 5-6 weeks. Yeah. He just started off really slow. Adunze had moments where it's a really good class for rookies fantasy wise, and I think it's going to be a strong class going forward.
Yeah, and say, and we maybe get some running backs this class, right, Jordan? No decent running backs in this class.
Yeah, was there any good rookie running backs this year? Bucky Irving was a rookie.
Yeah, Bucky.
I mean, it's one of the strongest I think fantasy rookie classes we've ever had.
Not Kyron. Sorry.
I think that's a really good take, Jordan.
Tracy had some good. Tracy was a rookie this year, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good take. Was this the best fantasy football draft class was this the best fantasy football rookie draft class ever? I think that's a fair thing to say. I'm going to put that out on X and say that. I think it is. It'd be interesting to see what rookie class competed more. Obviously, recency bias, right? But I think that is a good take, Jordan. Like, there was a lot of guys that were really good that vaulted your fantasy team. Like this week especially. You had Jaden Daniels. You had Bucky Irving. I don't know what wide receivers.
Neighbors. Brian Thomas Jr., McConkey, Trent. Those three guys were like three of the highest wide receiver scorers of the week.
Yeah, no, but even just looking at wide receivers finishes, and this is without week 17, but Brian Thomas, wide receiver 6, and what is this in? This is in half-point PPR. So Brian Thomas at 6, where is Neighbors at 12, and Ladd McConkey at 20.
Yeah.
And that he might jump up, a couple spots. But, you got 3 in the top 20, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is not even in the top 25. So, very solid rookie class. And I didn't even do and we can hop over to quarterbacks as well. So you hop over to quarterbacks here, Jaden Daniels at 4, and Bo Nix at 9. So you had two in the top. You had 2 quarterback 1s that were rookies. And wide receivers, you had how many that were wide receiver 1s? Was it just
2, and then a third that was a wide receiver 2?
Mm-hmm.
You had 1 RB2 on Bucky Irving,
a tight end 1,
and then you had the tight end, the number 1 tight end overall.
Tight end number 1 overall. So, and man, that Brock Bowers take I had over the offseason where I said he was too small is getting lots of comments every single day. So that was a lot of fun. They're still going after me, and I've already said hey, this was a bad take. I apologize, but people are still going after me in the comments on that one. So that's fun.
That's right.
Yeah. So very good rookie class, Jordan. I agree. I think I'm going to have to look at other rookie classes that were, competitive their very first year. Was Andrew Luck really good his rookie year? I know RG3 was really good that year. And then Andrew Luck, I don't remember him being a QB1 his rookie year exactly. That was a really bad Colts team.
Yeah, I don't remember other ones as much.
So but from top to bottom, from quarterbacks, wide receiver, running backs, maybe the best rookie fantasy class ever, potentially. So, all right, what do we got next, Phil?
Yeah, so the next one that we have is one pick you wish you could undo. And Trent, I like this one for you. I also think this guy could live in biggest frustration, but one pick you could undo. So let's go with you, Trent.
Michael Pittman Jr. I didn't listen to any of my colleagues on this pod. Jordan, you were right. All Colts players, absolute headache. Michael Pittman Jr., to have a roster with Michael Pittman Jr. and Jalen Waddle was absolutely I feel like I was losing brain cells. So, yeah. I got Michael Pittman Jr. I don't want to say anything else. I don't think I should say anything else. It's been bad. So I'm just going to throw it over to Jordan. Or I'll read Seth. Seth had Sam Laporta. That's been a rough one too. You know, tight end one last year, sophomore slump. I just think there's too many mouths to feed in Detroit.
He did come on strong though. He came on very strong towards the end of the year, but it doesn't help you. I think Kincaid almost is way worse than Laporta.
I would,
for what it's worth.
Yeah, Kincaid. Did Kincaid score a touchdown this year?
Kincaid was awful.
Yeah, like any double-digit TDs, like or double-digit games. Like I don't know. Like
I'm looking. I don't see. Oh, week 6, week 8. Week 6 and week 8 and week 3 were his only double-digit games.
Yeah. So here's the other thing with Kincaid. You could have this Josh Allen like playoff bias, right? And actually, Seth is here in the chat right now, so I'm gonna add Seth in.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
So Seth, we are on your biggest frustration pick, which is Sam Laporta. And how was your little Christmas gift exchange?
I'm sorry, what?
How was your gift exchange? Just forget it. You're on Sam Laporta, biggest frustration.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, like drafting him in multiple leagues, it was frustrating using like my 3rd round draft pick on him and kind of getting what you got out of him. Surprisingly enough, this one is kind of biting me right now because he actually won me my fantasy football championship tonight. So that one's biting me in the butt a little bit, but you know, he won me a championship. But really the beginning year, like using a 3rd round draft pick on him, I could have got some other guys that would have probably won me it easier, I guess you could say.
Okay. So, Seth, and you did win a championship tonight, right?
Yes, with his performance tonight, yeah.
Lost one and won one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Jordan, anything? Let's talk about yours.
Yeah, I got Chris Olave. I was super high on Olave. I think I used a 2nd round pick on him in one of my leagues. Had a ton of him on best ball. So Olave definitely was my guy I wish I could get back. And, you know, part of that was not really his fault. He got injured most of the season. He got hurt early on, right? And then he got a concussion later on. So I feel like he was hurt pretty much all season long. But, yeah, probably a guy who really cost me a lot in best ball stuff just because of how early you were taking him. And then I took him in the 2nd round of my redraft league, and that kind of really hurt me.
So
like I could have taken a running back. I could have taken a running back like in those spots instead of Olave, you know? And that's kind of like let me look at our main league where I had like my main home league where I had really crappy running backs. So I had like David Montgomery and Austin Eckler, like, you know, and I took Olave over like Achane, you know, or Josh Jacobs. Like that's kind of brutal, to be honest. So,
no, definitely brutal. What? Yeah, I don't. Well, okay. Saints wide receivers have burned me, Jordan. Michael Thomas, I drafted him the year whatever it was happened to him. Are you going to ever draft Olave? Like, this concussion thing's no joke. He's had a lot. Like, are you willing to go back in on him next year if he puts on a Guardian cap? Like what's your take on Olave? Have you been scarred enough that you're just like never again? Because I feel like if he comes out, he's at least 4th round draft capital next year? Higher?
I think it depends where you can get him at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, so like 12th round you'd get him, 2nd round you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
for sure, obviously.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what's the line of where you would get him? Like 4 is too high, 3rd's sweet spot maybe? I feel like a lot of people
probably I just don't know, Trent. It's so early. It's hard to know.
Well, no, like when was the last time I saw him play? Week 7? Like I guess if they would have been a playoff team, maybe he comes in and plays, right? Maybe he makes that comeback and tries to play. But all right, what's next, Phil?
All righty, here we go. Best draft capital. Best draft capital. I really like Jordan's. Jordan, let's go with yours here first, brother.
Yeah, I got Chase Brown. Just because you were probably drafting him in the later rounds. I know, like in best ball stuff, he was going pretty late, double-digit rounds. This draft I have pulled up, he went in the 9th round. I think Chase Brown, like especially towards the end of the year, really came on strong. I
Yep.
gotta look up where he was exactly when it comes to running backs. He was RB. Man, he's further down the list than I thought. Maybe I scrolled past him. I definitely scrolled past him.
Well, no, he's
RB
only
13. RB 13. So like that's pretty good. And you got him in the 9th round, and he came on really strong for you towards the end of the year. Has pretty much been a workhorse. So he outscored Trent's guy. He was one RB slot below Jonathan Taylor. Honestly, not that far in this league. 6 points behind Joe Mixon. Ahead of Aaron Jones, ahead of Breece Hall, ahead of Swift, Pollard, Harris, Rashad White, J.K. Dobbs. I mean, pretty good draft capital.
Yeah. No, he honestly, what was it? Once Moss got hurt, he was just absolute like. And what happened to his ankle? Is he messed up? Like, is he
high ankle sprain?
High ankle. Okay, I was just worried it was like Achilles or something. So I saw him get hurt in that game.
Well, I mean, and he's not a playoff hero. I mean, definitely best draft capital. He's not a playoff hero necessarily, but he definitely helped you get there. I guess it qualifies within best draft capital, but like he really helped quite a few people get to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely.
So,
and maybe even fell to your waiver wire in certain leagues.
Oh, totally. Yeah, he did in one of the leagues that I was in. All right, Trent, let's hear about yours.
All right. I got Chuba Hubbard. I did a couple, YouTube shorts with Chuba Hubbard, and the guy just smashed all year long. Like, really good. Finished the season as running back 11. He did give you, that fantasy championship that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. They shut him down, right before the Bucs game, and it wasn't even like it was a late shutdown too. But they did run him into the ground the week before. Like, he basically had the walk-off overtime TD the week before, but all season solid, like as good as a running back too as you can get the whole entire year. So Chuba Hubbard, like him a lot. And everybody's worried about Jonathan Brooks. I know he's injured right now, but Chuba got the extension. Like, I really like Chuba Hubbard. I'll be high on Chuba Hubbard again, but maybe the ADP is just way too high next year. I don't know. But Chuba, I had a lot of people go after me on social media about the video I did on Chuba Hubbard. I went, don't worry, kept the receipts, went back and replied to all of them recently. So there you go. Phill.
Seth, let's go to yours.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 2 redraft leagues I'm in, and I have JSN. In one league, I have him in the 9th round, and in this other league, I also have him in the 9th round. So that could just be my league, but I would assume that's kind of the consensus around all redrafts, 12-man, around the 9th. He ends up as wide receiver number 8, which is really surprising. DK Metcalf did have an injury, and Jason stepped up from kind of that point and became wide receiver 1. The interesting thing about the Seahawks is they are up there in terms of total NFL, passing yards. So, I mean, it might not seem like Jason really had that great of a season just because his touchdown numbers really aren't there. I mean, he still had 7 or 6, what I'm seeing. But still, he had really great numbers. If you kind of look at that game log on Sleeper, when you see those green numbers, you're pretty excited about that. And just about the second half of the season, all of his numbers were in the green mostly. Finishes as wide receiver 8 in half-point PPR, and finishes as a top 10 receiver. When you get him in the 9th round, you get a top 10 receiver in the 9th round. That I would say that's really good value. I don't know if I'd argue that he has better draft capital than maybe some of the guys you have listed, but I wanted to say just something different because I think as maybe that might have been the best receiver value maybe of the year. Because really at that point in the 9th round, that could be your 3rd receiver you're drafting, and he might end up being your best one.
Yep.
No, I'm glad JSN came alive finally. I wasn't high on him last year, but and I wasn't high on him this year either. Are we like?
And next year might even be better with. I don't think you're getting. You're obviously not getting him as late now, but I mean, as late regardless. But I think he might be the number one guy there. He will be the number one guy there likely
Not
next
to make
year.
this a Seahawks pod, but do you guys think like you think they go after? You think they bring Geno back for sure, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
wanted to draft a quarterback, but
I guess they don't have that good of a pick. But
I could see them honestly. I could see them trading DK.
I'm trading up.
Like some type of package with DK to trade up.
Here's the dream situation for the Seahawks. I don't know if it happens. I don't think they should let it happen. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks would be amazing, I think. I think that'd be a good move for them. I don't know if the Vikings let him walk, though. That's the only thing. I think they I don't
really
know.
think the Vikings want to keep him a little bit longer and have McCarthy behind him for a few years? Is that what you think?
If he makes a deep playoff run, I don't know how you get rid of him.
Yeah,
I think it depends. Depends how he does in playoffs.
Yeah, so he's shown that he's good, and if he could go there and he could throw to JSN and DK Metcalf, I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but we'll talk about that all offseason. I maybe should have saved that, but I've been keeping that near and dear to my heart for a while. I just wanted to see Phil's live reaction on the pod. Doesn't look that excited, to be honest.
I just don't think that that would be great, but I just don't think that the QB draft class is that great. Like, I like Quinn Ewers, but like, I wouldn't know if I would be that excited about him going to the
Quinn
Seahawks.
Ewers, I don't even think stays at Texas and starts. Like, I think there's rumors he might go to Oregon.
There's rumors, but I think he just goes to the NFL.
I don't know.
What about Dylan Gabriel just staying in the northwest and
going to
Seattle by the
Seattle?
Seahawks?
Maybe we got a lot.
I just don't know if I've seen enough Gabriel to really be like, I don't know, that excited about it. But
I mean, Seth, he's played college football for like 6 years, but
bring Russ back.
I know, but I'm just saying he hasn't been on any relevant team besides this year. Like,
I mean, Oklahoma, he was pretty good at Oklahoma last year.
yeah, but they weren't good, so it didn't matter.
So
He's pretty good at UCF for all those years.
Total side note here. What about that guy that's like heartbreaking? And it's that guy on Miami. He's like, his 9-year college career has come to an end, and he's like all sad hugging. It's like,
Cam
dude,
McCormick?
yeah, I think it's like 9-year.
And my top comment was time to get a job.
I know my favorite is just like heartbreaking moment. 9-year career comes to an end. It's like, was he coaching? Like this guy. I don't know. It's with these new rules. It's wild.
No, Trent, that guy had like
COVID year.
4 medical redshirt years. Like, he kept getting medical redshirt waivers. I think the guy tore his ACL like 3 years in a row or something like that. The same ACL.
That's crazy. Yeah. How about the Jets being interested in Rex Ryan? It's like, we've already seen how this story ends. Like, what are we doing here?
It might be better than what it's been, though. Jets are absolute dumpster fire. Gardner, what is it? Sauce Gardner's like telling guys, like, I would never tell T. Higgins to come here, like in comments. And then one of their secondary guys is like, yeah, I have no interest coming back. It's just absolute dumpster fire there. Rodgers tapped out, right? Like, I don't know. It's the Jets. What do we have next, Phil? Do we get through what?
Poor Devontae. Like, the guy has just been like passed around, like, used chapstick.
I don't think I've ever used anyone else's chapstick.
Yeah, I don't know who passes around chapstick, but
yeah, you're a germaphobe, and you've used other people's chapstick. Like, you don't like buffets, but if I gave you chapstick, you'd use it. Interesting.
Yeah, I think you're a fairly clean person. I'd be like, hey, if I'm gonna pinch and I have cracked lips, I'll use it.
Okay. Interesting.
It just depends on who you are, All right, we can move on here to the next one. This is taking drastically longer than I expected, and I am about to crash out. All right, waiver wire hero.
Here's an idea. Don't be boring, Phil. There's an idea. Okay.
All right, just get your waiver wire hero on here, Trent.
Waiver wire hero. Jerry
you and
Judy.
Seth can talk about it together. You guys probably share chapstick
Judy.
after all your picks have been basically the same.
Jerry Judy.
Go.
My lips have to be falling off for me want to share chapstick with someone. Like, it's like cut in half, split in two. Like, for me to do it. Like, Like looking
Jaw
like some Star
drop? 'Cause
Wars.
I've seen that happen at Panda Express. Or are you saying lips chapped?
I
Like,
said lips falling off, not jaw drop.
oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
when those pot stickers are hot, man, yeah, my jaw will drop. I'll have to get a shovel to scoop that thing off the ground. But that's a whole entirely different story. Yeah, I got Jerry Jeudy. Minus the Jameis Winston thing, I think we had like a never forgive the Cleveland Browns for what they did to us as a fantasy community. They held Jerry Jeudy back, and they held the Browns back. Like Jameis Winston, was he going to win games? Maybe, probably not. But they went out there and threw DTR out there, who has one of the, I can't remember what it is. It's one of the worst QBR ratings like ever. Like I think he has the lowest completion per attempt or something. It's wild what it is. He is not a good quarterback. Jameis Winston could have fed families with all the fantasy winnings we would have had if he would have kept being able to feed Jerry Jeudy. If you have Jerry Jeudy, you're very bummed how the season ended, but very good waiver wire ad. Also, fun fact, Baker Mayfield threw for more TDs in week 17 than Deshaun Watson did the whole entire season. Fun fact. But yeah, so Jerry Jeudy. What?
Deshaun Watson will be back in Cleveland, just for what it's worth, Jordan, but they will be bringing in a quarterback for quarterback competition, just for what it's worth.
They did restructure his contract, though, Phill.
That's what I'm saying. They restructured his contract, so it's not as much as a salary cap.
So you're both kind of right. You brought that up.
That's what I said. We're both kind of right, and Jordan's mostly wrong. That's what I was basically saying.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They just got paid. Oh, wait, they restructured his pay, and they're going to be bringing in other competition. Seth, you basically said the same thing as Trent. Anything, or you didn't basically, you did say the same thing. Anything you want to add to old Jerry Jeudy there?
Judge Judy.
I did see some people, was, I guess, a low enough draft pick to be considered probably on a waiver wire for most leagues. But I doubt, honestly, if you drafted him at the end of the year, I don't know if you really held on to him, really. Until Winston became quarterback. I know if you did get him, you probably made playoffs, and then you probably lost in playoffs afterwards. So that's kind of always a bummer. And I feel like that's where, sometimes that waiver wire out of the year can kind of be a bummer, that you only get those spot weeks. I really thought Jordan Mason was going to be like the exact guy for that whole thing, the whole year, but then he got hurt, and then the Niners just kind of became a dumpster fire. So I was hoping that one would be a good one, but nope.
Rip.
Okay, Jordan, what are you saying here? Yeah,
I got Bucky. As a waiver wire out of the year. A top, running backs are so valuable. If you can add a top 20 running back, a very solid RB2 off the waiver wire, I think that's a huge deal. So, I agree with Seth. I think Jordan Mason would have been a surefire lock for this if he hadn't gotten hurt, So you could almost argue like 49ers running backs could have been this one. Like,
oh, yeah.
A combination of Mason Garendo. But, like, if you're going to go one, though, I think it's Bucky for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Makes sense. All right, let's see here. Moving on, Seth, we've skipped you here on one of them because you weren't here yet, and I was skipping around. But dud of the year, I'm gonna let you start, Seth. This guy is also listed in another one of your categories, but let's go dud of the year first, Seth.
Yeah, so this is just straight 49ers hate. Sorry, 49ers fans, not really sorry. But Debo, half-point PPR, let me just pull him up. Just decides to show up week 17 and week 16, for all the guys who had him in their toilet bowl playoffs, decides to show up. And really, week 17 is not even showing up. I think he touched the ball like 3 times and rushed a touchdown in. Had 5 receiving yards. And this was by Brock Purdy, who threw like 350-something receiving yards. And guess what? One reception went to Debo. So this is just kind of funny to me. Absolute dud. Wide receiver 44. So it's so bad. Guys, he had more than 4 catches twice since week 4. That's so bad.
I do the dead list every single week on X, and it was annoying putting Debo on there every single week, but I felt like I had to do it. Yeah, he was very frustrating.
I don't want to say he's like not good or not getting the opportunity, but like if you're not open, you're not getting the ball. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, he was dropping passes too.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if he's going to stay around, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know who wants him though. Like, who's going to want him?
Yeah, I have. This is just a basic one. I've held this dear to my heart for a long time. I have CMC. You left your draft with CMC. You were very upset with it, and hopefully you handcuffed Jordan Mason. But yeah, you guys said the 49ers running back room could have been the waiver wire ad of the year. They also could have been almost the dead of the year because you might have spent all your fab on Jordan Mason. Then you went out and spent it all on Elijah Mitchell or whatever, like they've just been banged up the whole entire year. But I have CMC as just absolute dead of the year, someone that I had on my roster. So I'm going to stick with him there. Jordan?
Yeah, I have Travis Etienne, dead of the year. He was RB 39 in this league I'm looking at. He was outscored by Amir Abdullah, Justice Hill, Austin Eckler, Alexander Madison, like his own teammate, Tank Bisbee. So I think he was like a second, third round draft pick in most leagues. So
that was a
Travis
bad one.
Etienne, dead of the year.
Yeah.
He was running back 3 last year, I think.
He was up there.
So he was definitely top 5.
Yeah. I just have my all duds team here. I'll read real quick, and I'll read you draft position versus the finish. CJ Stroud, QB5, finished as QB18. Christian McCaffrey drafted as RB1. Travis Etienne drafted as RB8, finished as running back 38. Tyreek Hill drafted as wide receiver 1, finished as wide receiver 21. Deebo Samuel drafted as wide receiver 13, finished as wide receiver 40. Marvin Harrison Jr. drafted as wide receiver 8, finished as wide receiver 34. Travis Kelce drafted as tight end 1, finished as tight end 6. Not terrible there, but you didn't draft him to be tight end 6. And then flex, I got Breece Hall, drafted as RB3, finished as RB16. And then just for kicks and giggles, I got Justin Tucker, drafted as kicker 1, finished as kicker 10. So,
what was your QB, Trent?
CJ Stroud, QB5, drafted as QB18.
Is Mahomes close to that too?
Mahomes has shot up the last 2 weeks, but he had
a good
really well.
Good couple weeks.
I don't have week 17 though, so he might shoot up a little bit more.
Well, because he had another 25 burger.
Yeah, QB 10.
He's QB. That's what I was going to say.
So he might
15 overall. He's not too bad.
But he was what? Yeah. He still was a QB, top 3 QB probably drafted.
Top 5, 3 to 5. Yeah, it depends on what league.
So, just your top 10 QBs. Mahomes at 10, Knicks at 9, Darnold at 8, Goff at 7, Hurts at 6, Baker at 5, Daniels at 4, Burrow at 3, Allen at 2, Lamar at 1. So Lamar with back-to-back seasons is QB1, I believe, in fantasy football. But what do we have next, Phil, with the awards?
Yes, sir. All right, moving on here. We go to biggest playoff hero. So playoff hero, Jordan, do you want to start yours?
Yeah, so I got Devonta Smith as my playoff hero. I really liked kind of what Trent and Seth did, but I'll go to Devonta right here. He came on, the last couple weeks. I think he had 2 of the 3 were really big. Pulling up his game log right now. Yeah, so he had 24 in week 15. He did not have a good week 16. He only had 8. But then if you got through your week 16 matchup, he had 29 this week against in your championship weekend. So the first round, he is really, really good. Championship, really, really good. Did not do good in your semifinal round, but if you were to somehow make it through that semifinal round without him, he definitely came through for you in the championship.
All right. What do you got, Phil?
Can I just say something? So Lamar Jackson was not QB1 last year. He was QB4.
Oh, it was Josh Allen. Sorry, he was MVP,
though. Yeah, you're good. Just
thank you.
Just happy to do that.
Yeah, this hasn't been said to you a lot probably in your life, Phil, but I appreciate you right now. Key 2 words right now. Okay, for me, playoff hero, I got Jalen McMillan. Guy's just been on fire. Jordan, you were high on him in the offseason. Guy's been good.
Another rookie wide receiver, Trent.
Yeah, another rookie wide receiver. So, I got Jalen McMillan, and I'll throw it over to Seth with who he's got to another rookie that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. Is Seth talking?
I have myself muted. This one was pretty sneaky. Like, I just looked at the finish this year. Brian Thomas, wide receiver 4 in the year. Like, that's pretty sneaky. Like, end of the year for him that might be worthy of draft capital. Now I'm kind of thinking
With
about
Mac
that.
Jones. With Mac Jones.
Yeah, where was he drafted? Like, let's look at that. But once
keep going.
week 15, 27.5 points. Week 16, 27.3. This is half point PPR. Week 17, 20.4. So just absolute consistency, completely bombing over the projection here and doubling the points of the projected just to give you a fantasy hero. Like, if you had this guy in playoffs, you're super thankful because more than likely he got you to the next week, and probably won you the championship too, except in my dynasty league where I lost to Phill because the rest of my team decided to completely fall in the toilet. So, but anyways, that one was
wide
receiver,
really wide receiver 40 on underdog. Best ball.
Yeah,
drafts.
so I mean, to go to 4, like, that's huge. And I think in PPR formats he might be less valuable just because he doesn't have as much receptions, but I think he's gonna be a pretty high draft target next year. Like, he's going to be the main target, totally. I think.
Yeah, guys, he got
47
drafted.
on underdog.
Oh, 47? Maybe I'm
on underdog. Excuse me, it's not on a sleeper.
Okay. So what I have here is I have guys drafted ahead of him in underdog: Jackson Smith-Njigba, Roma Dunze, Xavier Worthy, Christian Kirk, George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Amari Cooper got drafted ahead of him, Michael Pittman, Brandon Ayuk. So, yeah, really good there.
But if you look at I'm just looking at sleeper here, Trent. If you look at sleeper here, you have JSN at 45, ADP 100, wide receiver 45, Brian Thomas 47, Jamison Williams 48, Cortland Sutton 49. I don't know, just an interesting little thing there. Mm-hmm. That little group there wasn't actually not that bad. That's the span of 5 wide receivers.
That's a good spot there. What do we got next, Phil?
Okay, moving on here. Moving on, we have, all right, playoff 0. You guys can all just talk about this one together.
Just blow through it. Cooper Kupp. Do we need to say anything else? Like, it's been bad. It's been absolutely, like, we probably have given him too much attention, honestly. Like, my only question is he cooked? Is he done? Like,
I'm not drafting him.
It seems like the Rams are just running the ball now and letting their defense win the game, right? Is that what it seems like?
And it's Puka. It's just Puka. It's Puka. He's too good.
Is Puka wide receiver 3 next year? Like, is he?
He's up there. I'm going to draft him if I get the chance.
A little bit.
Puka and Trent, I'll admit this. Puka and Nico Collins were my 2 biggest misses of, like, guys I've wanted to fade early this year. Like, those 2 guys, kind of right on the Texans overall, but, like, completely wrong on Nico Collins and Joe Mixon. But, like, the other guys we were right about. But yeah, like, Nico and Puka were my 2 biggest misses of the year coming into the season, as far as the guys I didn't like.
And then here's another team, just on the Sam Darnold. I think Rams would be a good spot. Stafford's getting a little old. I think McVay's a good coach that Stafford would actually want to play for. Okay. Next here, Phil, what do we got? So we got Diva of the Year here next.
Phil, you're on mute.
I'm going with Deontay Johnson. I'm going with Deontay for mine. The guy's already come. Yeah, Deontay's been on his 3rd team. I think that's safe enough, to say anything else. He did say the Texans seem very team oriented though today. That he really likes how they're just all team first there. And I'm like, you just came back from the Baltimore Ravens. Like, aren't they one of the most, like, team oriented teams, like, well coached teams? Like, I don't know. I don't know how you put Deontay Johnson and Stephon Diggs on the same team, maybe, but Stephon Diggs isn't really playing right now. So they I think they were desperate and had to do something wild. So we'll see how this goes. Texans, they're still alive, right? They're the playoff hopes.
They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to get in and
lose.
Yeah,
because they're going to win. They won the South, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they just catch fire, but I just don't see it happening. So What else? I'll throw it over to Seth.
Let's go to Jordan's first, and then I want to talk about Seth's because I feel like there's a good amount to talk about with this guy just being a total diva. Go ahead.
Jordan has a
go
good
ahead,
one.
Jordan.
I got George
He does.
Pickens just mostly because the guy's throwing a tantrum pretty much every time I watch him play football. The guy literally like just throws an absolute hissy fit. No matter what, like this last game on Christmas Day, the guy was literally, and I was watching him because I needed his yards and he would have cashed a bunch of parlays. But like, dude, he was literally throwing his helmet, complaining. It was bad. Like he was like a little kid throwing a tantrum because his mom said no every single play. Crazy.
I love when people say hissy fit. I couldn't agree more though. You can't be like throwing those types of tantrums as an adult. You know what I'm saying?
And he's kind of
maybe ever
just kind of been kind of a weird
maybe
guy
ever.
Wait, what is the age that hissy fits are not okay? Is it 4? Is it 6? Like what's the right age, Phil? Like I just want to know.
I think when you hit the age of 11, hissy fits are no longer a thing. Like you can't throw a hissy fit at 11. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, if I saw a 10-year-old throwing a hissy fit, it would bother me.
Yeah. Well, then quit
Yeah,
doing
well,
it. Take the
look in
log
the
out of your
mirror.
own eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Seth, what do you got?
I have Debo. I mean, probably not as bad as George Pickens about complaining every game, but I mean, like,
But not as bad. The guy threw a punch at his long snapper.
yeah, no, I'm saying like it's not every game like he's having a hissy fit, and sure he's having a bad year.
I will take 3 hissy fits over one punch.
Yeah, but I mean, from all the reports I've read, though,
the guy deserved it, Phil.
From all the reports I've read, no, I totally don't agree with that. It was like maybe he was like just giving some hard love to the kicker, but also I don't know if the guy's like
how about a hard right hook?
And it's possible, it's like, yeah, it's possible he was being a jerk about it when it's like you're kind of the guy that's like been trashed the whole year. Like you're getting paid the most on the team, right? Like isn't he getting the top paid guy on the team and not doing anything?
Can you imagine getting into a fist fight outside of like a bar and just telling the cop like, "Oh, I was just giving the guy some hard love." Like what if
Yeah, but that's what it was said before. He pushed
the guy makes the most money here
face because he said something. You know what I mean?
For what it's worth, he probably should have punched Jake Moody. Maybe it'd make him kick the ball better.
Yeah.
The guy,
no,
I
think
Jake Moody
horrible.
make some field goal.
Yeah, no, but I think he was talking to Jake Moody, and the long snapper like tried to like stop the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
that's what happened. Yeah,
I
So
think
he
the
was
long snapper
was giving Jake Moody tough love, like, "Hey man, you need to make these kicks. Let's go." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Moody just said, "Why don't you catch a ball?"
Yeah.
No, I have no idea what he said. We do not condone fighting on this.
I think it's
pod.
pretty diva though to like pressure a kicker. I'm like, it's so much harder because most of the guys in the NFL could not kick for worth a life, and I think a kicker could actually catch a football. I don't know.
Yeah, probably so. I'm gonna keep
probably
going
not.
here.
Probably most kickers probably couldn't catch a football. Let me just throw that out there. But
I don't know. I think this is safe, and the NFL kind of got rid of this rule, or they kind of changed it, right? Comeback player of the year. So we all have Sam Darnold. I think
how'd they
that's
change
a
it, though?
no-brainer. What's it changed to, Jordan? Like who's
it has
going
to
to
be like
get
an injury or something. It's Burrow, but it's going to be Burrow who gets it.
Yeah, I don't think I think it needs to have gray area, personally. I don't think it should be an injury award. I think Darnold coming back from what he's come from to spend, more than, 3 seasons on the Jets and to get, be good. I think he deserves
to be a
comeback player of the
backup
year.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Like both him and Baker Mayfield were on the Panthers 2 years ago, and now they're both, franchise quarterbacks. So I think both of those guys, like any other year, Baker probably gets it last year, but you had the Flacco and Hamlin stuff happen, and now you have this. So I think, is it injury, Jordan? Is that how they do comeback player of the year?
Well, no, it says it's like it could be overcoming illness or injury, playing well after poor performance, returning after not playing the previous season. So like there's a lot of different kind of.
So with the
ways to
poor
look at it.
performance, maybe ride that for Sam Darnold, possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he didn't really play. I don't know.
He just didn't play. He just didn't play.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's been benched. Like Phil, me and you have been Darnold truthers, right? We never gave up.
Absolutely.
We've always been like, hey,
More
I feel like
you
Darnold-
than me. More the you than me. I'm a USC
here's the
guy,
thing.
but
Does Zach Wilson deserve another shot? I know Jordan's going to say no, but after what I've seen with Baker and Darnold, I kind of think Wilson deserves another shot. And everyone's, I think I'm taking crazy pills right now. But
Where's he at right now?
Broncos.
Denver.
Broncos. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Learned a little bit of something from Bo Nix, who's like 2 years older than him.
Yeah, probably.
So for what it's worth, Trent, on the DraftKings Sportsbook, Joe Burrow is a minus 500 favorite to win. Sam Darnold is plus 450, 4.5 to 1. Dobbins 7 to 1, and then it's like Tim Patrick 40 to 1, DeMar Hamlin 40 to 1, Christian Gonzalez 75 to 1.
I think DeMar Hamlin has a case this year. He's played really good football. He's actually been on the field, starting, made some big plays. Like I think Hamlin is deserving. So, we talked about that way. We did not talk about comeback player of the year this year like we did last year, but last year was a lot hotter topic, right? With all the fantasy a year ago or 2 years ago, fantasy championships were canceled due to the, stuff that happened. So
It's true.
I actually ran into a guy not long ago that was talking to me about fantasy football. I was talking about the pod. He's like, honestly, after the Hamlin stuff, I can't play anymore. I lost way too much money in that game. I had Josh Allen, and I lost by 3 fantasy points. So I decided I'm not playing anymore, and I just didn't know what to say after that, But
Interesting.
hey, we all take losses
Sounds like
different,
a quitter.
right? Yep. All right.
Zach Wilson is a year older than Bo Nix. If that's helpful to anyone. If anyone cares.
No, that I believed you. But I thought Wilson might be maybe like, Bo Nix was in college.
I feel like I was like in high school when Bo Nix was playing at Ole
Bo
Miss.
Nix played against Justin Herbert his freshman year, remember? And upset Justin Herbert and the Ducks.
Yeah.
Not to dump salt in old wounds. I know Seth's a huge Ducks fan.
Wait,
And
so how
then
many
7
schools
years
did
later
Bo
was
Nix
playing
play
in Oregon.
for?
2,
Just the
Auburn and
2.
Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah,
He said
Auburn.
Old Miss.
Old
so
Miss
I
or
was-
Auburn? He said Auburn.
Sorry.
He said
He
Auburn.
played at Auburn. I said Ole Miss. He upset.
No, I
No,
said
Jordan
I
said
said
Ole
Ole Miss.
Okay.
I said Ole Miss. I meant
All right.
Auburn though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's embarrassing.
Last one, Phil.
All right, last one here. Didn't we just do the comeback player?
I just had most underrated team during draft season.
Okay.
I think it's Commanders. You got Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson Jr., Jaden Daniels. I think those were the most underrated team guys you could draft. Jordan was
I
high
think
on
it's
them
Vikings,
offseason.
Trent. I think it's Vikings. I was high on the Commanders, but I think it's Vikings too because Justin Jefferson was like the 5th receiver drafted.
Yeah.
Because we all were too scared of him, and other than Jamar Chase, what did he finish at when it comes to wide receivers?
Justin
Chase
Jefferson's wide
1-2.
receiver 2 at the
1-2.
week
So
16.
just behind Chase. So people were drafting Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, and who was the 4th above St. Brown, And so he ended up – and then you have Addison, who was drafted late and has had a really good year. Aaron Jones has been pretty solid all year long.
Yeah.
And then you have Darnold, who's a top 10. So, I think it's the Vikings, but –
Yeah, no. I think that's – what was Terry McLaurin, though? Terry McLaurin, with my argument, is wide receiver 5.
6.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
6'5".
Just what I'm looking at here. QB.
No, I
Dan,
think Commanders are fine, too.
Yeah, no, they're both good. So, yeah, that's what I have there. Seth, you might have had playoff 0 being CeeDee Lamb if you wouldn't have won your championship today. I got to give you props for winning your championship without Marvin Mims and with, it's not like you didn't have CeeDee Lamb and decided to pick up Marvin Mims. Like you won it, barely without CeeDee Lamb. So I'll give you
Yeah,
props
I won it with Zacchaeus on my bench, but I couldn't in my right mind start him over any of the other guys I had. But yeah, barely snaked it out.
Yeah.
In terms
Zacchaeus
of the
was
most
a
underrated
real man.
team, I think I'd lean with the Vikings here. Just because no one was sure how good McCarthy would be, and maybe it's their saving grace that McCarthy just wanted to get his meniscus fixed this year. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I
had no idea that coach backed up Tom Brady for a time.
Does someone have an ad going in the back? I think I had an ad on my pop-up here. The other one I would maybe say, I was thinking maybe Vikings, not Vikings, Bucks, but Baker was drafted decently high and Mike Evans was drafted high, but like Bucky Irving coming out of the woodwork, so.
Yeah, but people were taking Bucks running backs,
Yeah.
Should Evans have been like Mr. Consistency? Like if you want to have a Mr. Consistency in fantasy, do you think that would be Mike Evans?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Other one, Jordan, I wanted to say Chargers, but I think Herbert's been too frustrating. And Dobbins didn't stay healthy. So I don't think Chargers qualify.
Yeah.
Chargers do not qualify. So, all right. James Conner probably deserved an award. Didn't get one. Been pretty solid all year. Let us know who we snubbed, who we forgot here. This is all our Dudes Awards. We'll be back next week with some playoff predictions, other fun stuff. As always.
Well, hold on. Are we going to do the games real quick or no?
Oh, yeah. Let's do the games real quick. That's fine.
All right. Let me do the games real quick here. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. We'll go quick.
Rapid
Jordan,
fire.
you going to keep track
Yeah,
of this?
rapid fire, Jordan.
Yeah.
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 I got it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let me pull up the set list here.
I don't know what happened to Seth, but
He looked in the mirror after throwing a hissy fit, right?
I'm guaranteeing
Internet-
Seth's
Internet
computer.
went out.
Okay,
Here,
All
Phill,
right.
why don't I do it? I have it pulled up already. Why don't I do
go
it?
for it.
I have it, but yeah,
All right.
go ahead. No worries.
Cleveland at Baltimore. I'm going Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Okay. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I'm going Cincinnati in a must-win. I guess they're kind of both must-win
both
games,
in it.
but
I'm gonna go Cincy.
Cincy.
wait, Pittsburgh's clinched though, right? Cincinnati has to win and other things.
Yeah, I think it's still. Yeah, Cincinnati
No,
has one. I'm gonna
the
go.
Chiefs.
You know what though? When do the Chiefs play? Because this could change everything.
No, the Chiefs play in the afternoon, so
Okay,
Cincinnati
so yeah,
has
Cincinnati,
to win.
yeah. But
Yeah,
Cincinnati's basically
So
out.
that Trent, Cincinnati Pittsburgh is on Saturday.
Okay, yeah, but Cincinnati's not getting in. It's safe to say.
Well, if the Chiefs win.
Chiefs are playing their third string quarterback. They're not even.
No, I
playing,
know, but
yeah.
I'm just saying though. I'm just saying. Cincinnati has to win. Pittsburgh doesn't have to. It's not really.
Yeah, so I'll go Bengals.
Okay, Jacksonville, Indianapolis. I am taking.
I'm gonna go Colts.
The Colts
I'm
are
going
still
Jacksonville.
Colts are still technically in it, right? No, they lost. They're
I
done.
don't think they're done, but they're both out. So
Okay,
I'm
I'm
going
going
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Even though I don't know how smart it would be for Jacksonville to win, but Houston at Tennessee. I'm going to go Houston just because Tennessee is that bad.
Houston for me as
Houston.
Okay, we got Carolina and Atlanta. I got Atlanta. That's must win for them.
well. Yeah,
Atlanta.
I'm going Atlanta also.
Wait, so I
What
thought
did you say, Phil?
if Atlanta wins and the Bucks win, who gets in?
Bucks.
Bucks do.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I'm going Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
It's a must win for them.
Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa.
Buffalo at New England.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I'll go Buffalo because I think them and the Ravens are still playing for something.
Yep.
Trent Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I said
Washington
Buffalo.
At Dallas. Oh man, I think this game means nothing for the Commanders, but I guess. But I'm gonna go Washington still.
I'm gonna go Dallas.
I'm going Dallas.
The Giants at Philadelphia. Man, I think Philadelphia can beat them without.
I think
without their
so too. I'm
starters.
gonna go
Yes.
Philly.
Chicago at Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Going to go Green Bay.
Yeah. Even though it doesn't really matter to Green Bay.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's just Seattle at LA. I'm going Seattle because I think the Rams play nobody in this game.
Yep, Seattle.
I'll go Seattle. Fine.
Although it doesn't matter for anything.
Yeah, I just could see McVay playing no starters at all.
Yeah.
Miami at New York Jets. I think Miami has to win this game to keep their chances alive, so I'm going to go Miami.
I'm going Miami regardless.
Miami.
Okay, Chiefs at Denver. I have Denver winning just because I think
Denver.
the Chiefs are going to let Denver win because they do not want Cincinnati or Miami into the playoffs. I think they'd rather have Denver.
Yeah, plot twist: Denver lets them win.
I'm going to say Chiefs.
Why would Denver let them win?
No, I just don't see like. I think if you're Andy Reid, you're like, hey, fumble this ball here. Like if it's close, like
because you do
cannot
not
win
want
this
the
game.
Bengals in the
No,
playoffs.
you don't. No,
You do not want the Bengals in the playoffs if you're the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing though. None of them are man enough to play the best team in the playoffs. Like that's the thing that makes me just absolutely sick.
Trent,
It's like
This should be like college football, right, Jordan? Where like they pick who makes playoffs, right? Not like, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm going Broncos.
And Phil, you took the Chiefs?
I'm taking the Chiefs. I mean, what
Carson
Chad
Wentz?
Henne won? Like Chad Henne won? Like
no, don't talk about it anymore. You're
dude,
taking the Chiefs.
Chad Henne won like 3 playoff games like 2 years ago.
Yeah, with all the
right.
starters.
Chargers at Raiders. I'm going
Chargers.
Ooh.
Chargers.
Oh man, are Chargers gonna play anybody?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go Las Vegas.
Okay.
San Francisco at Arizona.
Wait, let me
I'll
say
go
something about the Andy Reid thing. Let me say something about the Andy Reid thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever step on. He's so strategic, but he would never let his team get into a loser mentality. He's never going to be like, "Hey, we're going to lose this game." Like, I think he goes into the game
not trying to win the game though.
Yeah,
I guess
but there's
that's what I'm
something like Phil when it's like you play all your guys who aren't good either. You know what I'm saying? Like Chad Henne won a playoff game. You're right. He still had Tyreek Hill. Maybe he didn't have Tyreek Hill. He still had Travis Kelce. He still had Isaiah Pacheco. He still had his starting left tackle. Okay, this is like
how about when Mason Rudolph beat the Browns in a oh no, was it Mason Rudolph who beat who
again,
in a game that
you're saying one player versus 22 guys that don't start though. That's the difference.
But Mason Rudolph didn't have the starters.
Okay, I just don't think it will happen. But
all right, well let's put $1 on it. I will bet you both $1.
Sure.
Dollar.
Thank you.
Dollar. San Francisco at Arizona. I got San Fran.
I'm going San Francisco.
Santa can.
Okay, and then the big game of the week, Minnesota at Detroit. Man, this is tough.
I'm going Minnesota. Minnesota.
I'm gonna go Detroit.
Okay, the Electric City. Phil.
I'm going Detroit.
Okay.
I ran into a guy at HEB today with a Lions jersey, and I'm like, dude, I need our boys to step it up today because I have 2 guys and I'm in the fantasy football championship. He's like, dude, let's go. He's like, I drafted like all their players. And I was like, that's not wise, but right on, brother.
It might have been wise this year. I don't know.
It wasn't wise. Well, yeah, all right, maybe. But like, dude, like a bye week will just set you back, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But all right, thank you for those words.
So he also had Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. But he had Montgomery and Gibbs. That was wise, Jordan.
That was not wise. That would have been not wise.
You probably could have played both of them. You could have played both of those guys most of the season.
Sonic and Knuckles, baby.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles hang out together. No, Montgomery's RB14 right now, and he's missed time.
Yeah, no.
But all right, well, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. As always, take care.